Sleep and Secret Knowledge, the Truth About Sleep and Dreaming, an Ancient Empowerment, and 7 Benefits of Sleep and Dreaming that Expand Consciousness and Empowerment. Is there a reason there is a high level of insomnia co-occurring with our lack of health? Through time, sleep has become elusive and we've forgotten the values that sleep and our dreams bring us and how it connects us to our inner development, spiritual awakening, heightening consciousness, healing, and our evolution. We have become disengaged from the easiest methods of healing and restoration, the ability to access methods that help us get answers, connecting with deeper parts of ourselves, communicating with those who have passed, interacting beyond this time and space while our body is restoring, and understanding the value of different dreaming experiences, like out-of-body experiences and others that occur while we are sleeping and dreaming. Have we been separated from the sacred wisdom of our dreams and the dream time on purpose? There is an ancient use of specific sound pattern systems that ignite the relationship with our ancient connection to many transformational benefits of our sleep and dreaming. Our experiences of stress and trauma individually, within families, and over generations, and our collective consciousness and morphinogenic field have relegated our dreams and sleep to only a necessary function, and often forgetting how to access restorative states and the elements of the sacred wisdom and transformational elements of sleep that are innate to us. But the ancient wisdom of specific sound pattern systems and the relationship with sleep and dreaming is being restored. Methods that connect us to our restoration, falling asleep, dreaming, staying asleep, also connect us to and develop our inner wisdom. Specific sound healing patterns establish resonance and receptivity within. They develop and deepen relaxation and restoration, comfort, calmness, and a feeling of trust, creating the resonance as a bridge for our consciousness, neurological system, brain waves, respiration, and our heart rate. Here are comparison characteristics between sleep and listening to specific sound healing patterns that connect to our sleep and dreams. Both are states that have restorative changes in our brainwave activity, body temperature, heart rate, and pulse. Sleep and using specific sound healing patterns are restorative to the physical body, our mind and emotions, and connect us to our deeper selves. Like sleep and accessing dreams, specific sound healing patterns give access to inspiration, problem solving, and insight. Sleeping and dreaming are vital for health and longevity. Accessing restorative states with particular sound healing boosts our immune system and creates emotional and mental regulation while lessening cortisol, the stress hormone, which is the underlying cause of most illness. Specific sound healing patterns, sleeping and dreaming access different brainwave states that each have experiences within them that are unique to those different states that are correlative with each other. Using specific sound healing patterns, like going to sleep, changes our responsiveness to the outside stimulus and helps us manage and look at our outside world differently with deeper understanding and awareness. And using specific sound patterns that are relaxing and restorative restore our ability to connect to sleep, developing receptivity to getting all the benefits of sleep, as well as the benefits from the particular sound healing protocols. Dreams are one of the sacred places where human beings and the cosmos meet and interact, dispelling our oversights about dreams and sleep. Is the reason why we scoff at and preface any of our dreams when we talk about them is, I had a crazy dream, an unconscious way we've been programmed or acculturated to dismiss the value of dreaming. When we use the statement, I had a crazy dream, it separates us from valuing our sleep and the levels of dreaming that have been honored, understood, and utilized as an invaluable method of insight, transformation, and guidance throughout time. So I ask you to notice when you share a dream, if you use I had a crazy dream, and what it's like not to use that preface. Another component of sleep and dreaming is being woken up. Sometimes people are cranky because they're being woken, but that is how we remember our dreams, which means waking is an invaluable component. Before covering the 7 benefits of sleep and dreaming that expand consciousness and empowerment, I want to cover how lack of sleep, insomnia, arises and the consequences of insomnia. What is insomnia and how does insomnia relate to our modern time? What are sleep disturbances and how can we reclaim our sleep and dreams? First is primary insomnia. Primary insomnia means not being able to get to sleep or stay asleep, resulting in not getting good sleep or enough sleep. The person can be cranky, irritable, and tired. Other ways that lack of getting enough sleep or good sleep affects our body is feeling drained of energy, which over time affects health, our ability to focus, weakens our immune system, and causes us to make errors. And it also interferes with making good judgment and driving. Disturbances that interfere with getting to sleep. We have many different disturbances that influence our ability and inability to get to sleep and get good sleep. Disturbances of our modern time for sleep can be 5G, looking at screens from 2 to 4 hours, or sometimes even longer before we're supposed to go to sleep. And that can range for different people depending on their sensitivity. A room that's too hot or too cold, dogs on the bed, interfering thoughts and negative thoughts, which are caused from stress or trauma and upheaval, and consuming foods and beverages that keep us awake, eating too late, not having a sleep routine, and the use of substances can interfere with getting sleep, staying asleep, and getting good sleep. There's always a range of sensitivity levels to all of those things, depending on each person. An example I have run into is people who don't consider themselves to be sensitive to eating chocolate at 4 in the afternoon or after dinner, but they can't get to sleep or stay asleep. And they continue to eat the chocolate as a dessert at night. And other people who don't categorize caffeine tea as a caffeine and drink this tea throughout the day and they can't get to sleep. Secondary insomnia is the inability to get sleep due to an illness or condition. Secondary insomnia can also be the result of medications or even substance use or abuse, which can include caffeine and nicotine in tobacco. Other causes of secondary insomnia are chronic pain and overactive thyroid, dementia, and Alzheimer's. Breathing problems can be the result of asthma or even a cough from a cold, depression and anxiety, heartburn, and hypertension. The benefits of getting good sleep help the conditions above that are caused by primary and secondary insomnia. Using specific sound healing protocols and systems trains us into relaxation, restoration, and connection to the brainwave states that are restorative. This familiarity makes it easier to get to sleep. Using these sound patterns facilitates moving into the sleep state easily and effortlessly, simply by listening. The highest regard for dreams and sleep. Examples of how dreams are useful for transformation. Carl Jung, the famous psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, valued people's dreams immensely. Jung considered dreams an invaluable symbolism with messages that are symbols that transcend the individual in their life. These archetypes are universal symbols relevant for all humans through time and are part of the collective unconscious. Jung considered dream content a valuable communication connection between the unconscious and conscious realms. In other terms, dreams, their symbols, and the experiences we have when we are in the dream state of consciousness are part of the morphic resonance field that is the collective memory of consciousness, of knowing, and extremely valuable content for us. The extraordinary element of the morphogenic field is the content evolves. The evolution of the morphogenic field is in part occurring by our individual strides that contribute to the whole, knowing, activating, and expanding for everyone. These theories are not unique to this time. Ancient and indigenous peoples globally have used the dream time with reverence for guidance and as a reliable resource that is still unprecedented today. Understanding how dreams and sleep were and are valued and considered useful empowers us to reclaim our sleep, our dreams, and the dream time. Understanding how dreams and sleep were and are valued and considered useful empowers us to reclaim our sleep, our dreams, and the dream time. During the times of ancient Greece, people had dream temples. The dream temple was the place where you could sleep and capture your dream or dreams on a specific topic that was for healing. That is because dreams were valued and seen as significant guidance methods that offered content that was not available in any other way. Other ways that dreams were used in ancient Greece were for medicine and diagnosis and treatment, and purposes related to religious, political, social, philosophical information for individuals and for the nation's actions. Dreams were considered to be prophetic. They were signs and omens about future events, and as such were sought after for guidance for decisions about war and peace and other political moves. And another way that dreams have been used is when people have an after-death communication. It is through their nighttime dreams, also known as the dream time. The statistics from the Pew Research Center reveal 53% of people have contact with a deceased friend or family member. And I always figure that whatever percentage of people are reporting probably represents more. It is common for people to have an experience or several experiences with people or their animal friends after they have passed. And often this is immediately after, and sometimes it is many years later. These experiences often are reported as feeling real, as ordinary life, or more real, because these experiences have different elements of our senses as part of the experience. There may be a sense of touching, as in feeling the fabric of someone's clothes, hearing the sound of the person's voice as a resonant sound within. A common occurrence is smelling the odor of the cologne or perfume, or even the pipe smoke of the person who has passed. These experiences have communication involved, which is either telepathic or a kind of knowing what the message is that is being relayed. The dream time is a safe place to have an after-death communication because for most people, most of the time, It would be unnerving if the experience took place in our waking state. The characteristics of these dreams are that they are often remembered for years because of the feeling content, unlike other dreams. These kinds of dreams often occur when we are just about to wake up. So it is in the waking up part that allows us to remember. And while the majority of these dreams are often closer after the time the person has passed, there's something that's important for the person to know in their life. There is an element in the dream that causes the person to have the dream imprinted in their memory. What else is getting good sleep for that benefits our relationship with our innate abilities, inner wisdom, development, healing, and transformation? A somewhat common use of sleep and dreaming is incubation. Incubation is turning over a question, issue, concern, creative idea, need for a resolution when we go to sleep. In some uses of this method, the turning over is simply letting it go to the universe or multiverse or the dream time and knowing in some way, undetermined, the answer or direction will come. It'll show up. This is also called indirect processing, where there's no focus on the issue. For some people, they wake up with the answer or they no longer feel troubled by the issue. Other times, people wake up with the answer from a dream that gives them the content, or they wake up knowing something they didn't know when they went to sleep. While this writing is from a Western perspective, within the scope of the United States, there are other deep and profound perspectives and understandings of the use of sleep and dreaming. Dream walking is a method used to offer teachings and also transmit information to what we would call a receiver or a student. This is not a form of lucid dreaming, but instead a person intentionally enters the dream of their student or receiver with the person with whom they're interacting and imparts content and or teaching information. The person may receive conscious training in this method for their preparation, or they may not recall their training. This method is not limited to receiving it from humans who know how to do this, but also with enlightened beings who meet and interact with specific humans. And I'll speak more about this in a little later. I'm referencing here First Nation, Native American practices. I've studied with two different First Nation medicine women from two different First Nations. One was a Cherokee shaman and the other was a Blackfoot healer shaman, and I can verify these abilities. Other cultures who have valued the use of our sleep and the dream time for spiritual development are in the ancient Vedic wisdom tradition of Yoga Nidra. In Yoga Nidra practices, the conscious state of mind is bypassed that allows the practitioner of Yoga Nidra to navigate realms of higher dream states, retaining content when awake. These practices have been useful for accessing even scientific breakthroughs as well as guidance and insight. An example of the use of Yoga Nidra is Srinivasa Ramanujan, who was a genius mathematician who received his groundbreaking formulas from his dream work. And what other purposes do dreams offer? Dreams or night visions can warn a person about something, convey information about a future event or precognitive content, sometimes about other lifetimes, and a dream message can be a spiritual truth or omen. The ability to access the dream state for dreams is not new or new age or only with indigenous peoples of the world. In the Bible, there are references to waking dreams, night visions, and dreams which guide those who are receiving them. One example is Daniel 2:19 that states that a secret was revealed to the prophet in a night vision. And there is even a famous dreamer, Joseph, from Genesis 37:1-11, and many other references to dreams and how they guide people. In Tibetan Buddhism, using the dream state for spiritual developing and answering questions about health is part of an advanced practice. This practice is for people who are dedicated to their studies, using suggestions before sleep to connect to specific energy and dream being that works with dreams and the dream state and takes years to develop. In this method of dream development, during sleeping, the practitioner uses their ability to help heal people to get information that will help them heal. Other occurrences that occur during sleeping and the dream state include lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences. And out-of-body experiences aren't limited only to during sleep, and what we also might call the dream state or an OBE. And the OBE is experienced in the center of the person, in their awareness. So wherever they are, they experience themselves, but they're not in their body anymore. And an OBE is sometimes also called astral travel and can be linked with lucid dreaming. So lucid dreaming is awakening within the dream, and an OBE is seeing and knowing your body is beside or beneath your awareness, which are really two separate abilities. In either ability of lucid dreaming or an OBE, the person has the ability to use this experience ethically as a method of heightening and developing their spiritual awareness and capabilities. 7 benefits of sleep and dreaming that expand consciousness and empowerment. Why are getting good sleep, dreaming, and specific sound healing patterns invaluable for us, especially at this time? Number 1, we know sleep is essential for our longevity and well-being. There's a long list of the benefits later in this video. Even if we limit our perspective of the value of sleep to the benefits for our physical body, mental, and emotional system, going through particular sound healing patterns train us into the healing states that access and support restoration in our sleep. When our body is familiar with the particular sound pattern effects, and when we hear the beginning of our selected curated sound healing composition, there's an immediate automatic response of changes in our breathing, in relaxation, feeling of comfort, changes in our heart rate, releasing tension, changes in our brain waves that carries and holds the listener. This change is also relaxing, that allows the listener to deepen into the experience in safety and trust. Number 2, when we use particular sound healing rhythms and patterns to release stress, before it is time to go to sleep, we are preparing ourselves for a positive dream time experience, because when we're relaxed, we are not only releasing the stressors of the day, we are creating the opportunity for imparting to our subconscious the energy, feelings, and content we want to carry into our dreaming. The optimum use of this opportunity is stating our happiness, becoming grateful and noticing our gratitude and what we want to bring into and learn about as we're falling asleep when we have listened to the particular sound rhythms. This practice allows us to imprint our subconscious because we are transitioning into the hypnagogic state, which occurs between waking consciousness and sleep. And number 3, why are dreams important to the sound healing patterns? When we draw upon curated sound healing patterns that change our respiration, heart rate, and brain waves, we become familiar with this process. So it is easy and quick, and it carries us. There can be an overlap of insight, inspiration, and problem solving from sleep and listening to the curated sound patterns, because in both sleep and the sound listening, there's receptivity. This is established, and this receptivity is allowing for content to percolate through that is not available to us in waking consciousness as a resource. And number 4, the relationship between sleep and listening to specific sound patterns is synergistic, drawing upon particular sound healing patterns, rhythms, tones, vibrations, and frequencies is a system of protocols that develops our relationship, familiarity, and benefits from consciously accessing waking non-ordinary consciousness that improves our relationship with our sleeping state. This is because through specific sound patterns and tones, we connect to and deepen our relationship with getting into a calm state and staying in a calm state. The calm state also reduces stress and is restorative like sleep. The process teaches our neurological, mental, emotional system what it feels like, so it is easier to get into the sleep state as well. Number 5 is the lullaby effect. In addition, training the body, mind, emotions, and spirit to connect into relaxation with specific curated sound selections is the same effect as a lullaby on a child. There is an immediate response because of the training. The sound patterns are comforting, trusted, relaxing, and safe. This makes it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep, enhancing sleep quality. When we hear these sounds, we immediately connect to them and begin to shift our brainwaves, heart rate, and respiration simultaneously, easily, and effortlessly. Number 6, another benefit of using particular sound healing patterns and tone systems is the ability to cross over from one of the restorative state of curated sound listening and dreams. When we have a relationship with the restorative and expanded state of curated sound listening, there often is a crossover of content and feeling that strengthens the incubation. I mentioned incubation before, which is turning over a question, issue, concern, creative idea, or need for a resolution. The turning over is simply letting it go to the universe, multiverse, and knowing in some way, undetermined, the answer or direction will come. This is also called indirect processing, where there is no focus on the issue. Other enhancements and benefits of using sound healing patterns and tones is other dream work, problem solving, insights, answering questions, and inspiration. And number 7, additional benefits of particular sound healing patterns and tones is the benefit that supports our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, progress, and evolution. When we shift into restorative states, where there are simultaneous heart rate, brainwaves, and respiration change, the following also happens. There's restoration of the neurological system from trauma and stress. There's diminishing of cortisol production that is caused from stress and trauma. There's reduction in inflammation, which is the underlying cause of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, addiction, schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety and depression, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia. There's an increase in dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals. There's a change from mental and emotional dysregulation to mental and emotional regulation, and epigenetic responses are created, which means our system does not turn on the switches for disease and illness, which equals empowerment. And the last one is there's a boost of the immune system. All of the above responses work with and enhance the benefits of getting good sleep. It is a method that allows us to be in the lullaby response, the response of comfort and restoration, easily as soon as we hear the first notes of the music that we know is holding us in that state of restoration and accessing all of the benefits. It isn't all music that gives us these benefits, nor is it all tones or all patterns of sounds. It is particular sound patterns, tones, and rhythms that we enjoy, that are soothing, but also are entrancing, that create the entrainment effect of resonance, that facilitate the necessary changes. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe and check out the 3 Melete programs.